Hi there, I'll go by Cad Howdy. This is my first YouTube video. This is my submission to the International Car Show 2021 put on by DEBOSS Garage. My entry is a 1984 Ford 3/4 ton HD to F250 HD. It's an HD because it's got a 6.9 diesel in it, 4-speed manual. Four-wheel drive. I got this truck coming on 3 years ago. Yeah, it'd be about 3 years ago I got this truck. I was looking for an IDI to drive, mainly because I wanted an older diesel truck, and what they wanted for a first-gen Cummins, it didn't turn my crank. But you know, with this research that I did on these old engines, they're just they make no power to hurt nothing, and they just go and go and go and go. So hey, what have I done? So for the Get Her Done mods from Weckler Farms, this truck is a bale truck. I bought it with it had a hydraulic pump on it, minus the deck. So I was able to acquire this one from a neighbor. Totally rebuilt it, new hoses, cylinders, new valve bodies for the or spools, I should say, for the hydraulics. Runs off of switches in the cab, and then I did all the lights too. So I got it all working 100% now, and it'll pick up 2,000-pound bales, no problem. And because it was a bale truck previous in its life, it's got an 8-pack leaf spring in the rear on each side. It's a Dana 70 rear. Let's see, it had 155,000 kilometers when I bought it. It now has 180, and so I've done a starter. I've put new batteries in it. I did do the glow plugs when I got it, but there's all of 3 or 4 left working. So you gotta have her plugged in for it to start nice anyway. Let's see, we can go under the hood here. Bone stock, a little wore out, 6.9 diesel. It's got quite a bit of blow by, but I wonder if that's almost a factory thing, something about the rings and the end gaps. They left a huge end gap for some kind of theory for making power or having reliability. So I got that coming out of a road draft tube on the frame, and it spits out good amount of smoke when it's idling. To be plugged in, instead of the block heater, I've got a circulation heater down there. Gets this under hood toasty warm, and it fires right off in the winter, even in the -30 we get here in Alberta. That's the hydraulic pump that the truck came with and runs the deck. I can give a short demonstration later on here. Motor's not been touched. I haven't touched the injection pump. I don't need to. I've got plans to build another 6.9 engine and put a turbo on it, and so I'll have a new pump and new injectors and an intercooler, all to make some better power out of this thing. This grill guard bumper I got here, I built. The grill guard came with the truck with the just mounted over top of the factory bumper, and so I just took some heavy grater blade and built it in. Left space for the light bar, and down here I've got a little scoop just to pull some air from the bottom up into the rad, because that is all rad down there and it doesn't see air, and in the summer it does get warm when I'm under load. I've got a little wrap or a coil up for my extension for my block heater. Gives me some range wherever I pull up in the winter. I would like to be plugged in if I got to stay for an extended period of time. Also under hood, what do we got? I got a bank of relays that I built on a bracket. They got a light bar in the front, I got a light bar in the headache rack in the back, and then the two trailer lights to shine down the side of a gooseneck. That's 3, and then the 4th one runs my custom heated mirrors that I built. I opened them up, took the old bad glass out, and put new glass with the heated pads in the back, and that's on a switch in the cab. Works really well. There you see my light setup in the back so far. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh, and going back to the front, it had that old twin traction beam Ford front end, which was all sagged out and not worth replacing. So the best money I ever spent was getting this 1-ton front diff, Dana 60. Turns like a has a turn radius a mile long, but I've had no issues and it rides way better. So in the cab, got a set of bucket seats out of an 85 half-ton. They fit factory to the floor, so they bolted right in. It came with a hodgepodge pair of buckets out of, I believe, a 76, and the mice were in them and they were not mounted very well. So this works extremely well. I got custom seat covers made to protect the old velour. Came with the center console. In the cab, got a variety of modifications. First off, a missing radio. I don't know if that's a modification, but originally I had taken the radio and I was able to exchange the tape cassette player and put a Bluetooth receiver inside, and I could actually switch between radio and then the Bluetooth receiver, and it played off my phone fantastic. But the sound quality, there's a bad signal somewhere in there, so I just use a Bluetooth speaker now and put it up on the dash, and that's how I listen to my podcast. Here we can see I've got a set of gauges mounted upright, just to give proper readouts with real values: Fahrenheit for temp, PSI for pressure, and volts instead of amps. All mounted on custom brackets to keep it secure. Here I've got an old school, new old stock ISPRO temp gauge, air temp gauge, exterior air temp, Fahrenheit. I brought that out of the States. It works so-so. I gotta find a better place for the sensor. There's a custom bracket that I built for that guy to sit on. Down here is my switch for my hydraulic pump with a light on that's just a chunk of steel that I put the slots, or put the square and the hole in to mount that. This is my high idle and timing advance for the cold start, glow plug buttons. This switch here runs a timer behind in the dash there. I got it set to 10 seconds, so you just trigger it and it runs the glow plugs automatically for 10 seconds, which it's just handy instead of reaching down, holding the button, and then, you know, because you'd rather start cranking as soon as the light goes out. So there's that. Here's my row of switches for my lights. That'll be for the trailer lights, or the side trailer lights. This is for the rear on the headache rack. This one is for the front in the bumper, and that is my switch with a light so I can see it at night for my heated mirrors. So I plan to put another switch somewhere in here. I want to put 2 more just smaller lights, directional lights, in one of the corners of the grill guard to shine outwards past where the light bar shines. So it's got this old school I don't know. I still think they make them. It's basically a line lock, but it just locks up the rear brakes or the rear shoes, and it's just a hydraulic parking brake is all it is. It doesn't work really well. It's something I've got to figure out. But everything works. All my gauges work. Another modification is that's the factory location for the tach. It didn't have one, so I went and got one off of eBay, and this one runs off of the alternator, and it works super well. See, you got my old school anti-glare lights. The old farts will know what those are called. I got them hooked right up to my interior lights. They put a nice reddish purple glow on the dash. It's not too bright, and it takes the edge off of the glare of oncoming traffic at night. I'll go around to the other side and show you what I've done with the rear seat. It's got a rear bench seat. It's real short, like they had it mounted right on the floor from factory, which was a pain. But there's this outfit in Montana called LMI Welding, and they do they're a high rider seats. They sell these kits for Ford trucks and Chev trucks, all the way to the new generations as well. So it's a 4-inch rise, picks it up off the floor, makes it a lot nicer to sit in. Let's see there, barely see it there, but anyway, it picks it up off the floor, gives me a little more room to store stuff. Tools and electrical kit and whatnot. So yeah, love the truck. I plan to keep it for a long time yet. I mean, it's only got 180,000 clicks, which is nothing. So especially for a truck like this, plans, like I mentioned, I got an engine at the machinist right now, getting a 40 overbore, new rod and crank bearings and all that. And I've got a set of head studs put on it for the turbo. You can see all that in the bio that I've got on the boss's page there. For the entry for my entry at the car show on the DEBOSS Garage website. I'll give you a quick show on the Hydra deck, show you how that works. Oh, had to start it with ether just now and forgot to hook my relay back up for the key. It'll fire up right now though. Starts right up when it's warm. There's the tach. It's pretty accurate. So there, I'll get out, turn on the switch, and then pull out my custom snake for my bed. Top down, I've got lift, squeeze, and extension. The square left picks the arms up. I got a chunk of pipe in there just for lifting stuff up onto the deck. Super handy for hauling quads and stuff. If you can see it, there's the bit of squeeze that it's got with the pipe in it. Got a pretty good range on it. And then there's the extension to reach out, so you can pick bales off the front of the deck, because you can haul 2 at a time on here. So yeah, so that is my entry for the International Car Show 2021 rather. So Thanks for watching. This is Cat Howdy, short for Canadian Howdy. Thanks again.